Hello and welcome to part 3 of the 3-part video series on how to become a course provider for TxVSN. Part 3 is focusing on the course review process. The first step of getting your course reviewed is to make sure that you have submitted all of your documents needed. You will submit these through the Electronic Course Submission System, or ECSS, which is described in part 2 of this video series. Once all of the required information is received, you must prepare for the course to be reviewed. It is important that the reviewer's logins that were provided on the access form work and allow the reviewers access to the full content of the course. Make sure that no changes are being made to the course while it is being reviewed, and that the contacts listed on the access form are accessible and can respond to course review questions in a timely manner. Reviewers will be accessing the full course for about 14 calendar days. Please make sure that their access is not interrupted during this time. There will be 3 reviewers reviewing the course simultaneously. Each of them is a highly qualified and Texas certified in their specific content area aligned to the course. Our reviewers have been specifically trained to review courses for TxVSN. They are instructed to uphold all privacy and copyright laws and procedures. As mentioned in Part 2, these documents listed here are required for a successful course review to take place. Please make sure to complete each form thoroughly to ensure the best results of the course review. Step 2. The course undergoes the review. Our reviewers will be using 2 main review instruments when reviewing a course. The first is the iNACOL National Standards Instrument, and the second is the TEKS Alignment Document. They will provide data and feedback on these 2 forms based on these 2 areas within your course. Every course is reviewed for satisfactory alignment to all of the iNACOL National Standards and their 58 corresponding criteria. More information about the iNACOL, or the International Association for K-12 Online Learning, and their standards can be found on their website. And also more information can be found on these standards as well on the TxVSN website. The 6 general iNACOL standards that our reviewers are looking at and their related criteria are content, instructional design, student assessment, technology, course evaluation and management, and 21st century skills. Our reviewers score each criteria for the course based on a range of a score of 0 indicating that the component is missing, all the way up to the highest score being a 4 indicating that the component was evidenced at a very satisfactory level and no improvement is needed. Any score below a 3 is considered not passing for a criteria and will need to be addressed by the provider in the modifications within the course. This is an example of the reviewer instrument that they use to review the national standards. In addition to the iNACOL national standards, every course is also reviewed for the 100% alignment to the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, or TEKS, as well. The only exception to this review document is AP courses. We do not review AP courses against the TEKS. Our reviewers look for each knowledge and skill and student expectation in a course. They also evaluate if the TEKS is addressed at the appropriate Bloom's taxonomy level as well. It is important that the provider fill out the TEKS correlation document clearly and completely so our reviewers can find all of them easily during the review. All of the TEKS correlation documents can be found in the course review area of our website. As of January 2012, Course Review will also be evaluating courses on their level of accessibility for students with disabilities. More information on accessibility guidelines can also be found on our TxVSN website. Once the review is complete, the data will be compiled into a report. This report will then be sent to the provider, and a conference will be arranged to discuss the results. A course report consists of a cover page, a ratings page and table of contents, which will indicate how your course did in the course review process, a summary of the reviewer findings, required modifications that need to be made in order for the course to be approved and added to the catalog, the national standards data, the TEKS alignments data, and other documentation that may have been supplied by the provider district. Only the provider, TxVSN, and TEA will have access to this report information. When the course report is provided, the course can receive one of three possible ratings: approved, and it immediately being placed in the TxVSN catalog upon TEA's final approval; approved with modifications. Usually these are courses that need just a few minor modifications to be made; or not approved, and these courses need major modifications in order to reach the approval level. Once the course review is complete, the course report will be provided to the provider, and a course review representative will discuss modifications that need to be made to get the course approved and added to the catalog. Modifying the course after the review is step 3. So along with the report, the provider will also receive a special document called the modification document. On this document, all required modifications are listed in order for the course to reach the approval status. The provider will use this document to indicate where the required modifications are addressed in the course. They will fill out the two middle columns. Once all the modifications are complete, the provider must notify Course Review that the course is ready and send the completed modification document to Course Review. This document will be used by Course Review to verify that all required modifications were adequately made to the course by the provider. Another conference may be necessary to address any other issues with the modifications that may arise. Once all modifications have been made and verified by Course Review, a final report will be sent to TEA for final approval. Once that final TEA approval is received, the course can then be added to the catalog. Central Operations will be notified by Course Review that the provider's course is ready to be added to the catalog. And Central Operations will contact the provider to set up a conference to complete the final provider agreement and to discuss how to add the information for the course into the course catalog. During this call, Central Operations will explain to the provider registration procedures and other business-related information regarding the course and the process of offering it to students across the state of Texas. This is normally where I ask for questions, but since this is a recording, I will address some commonly asked questions. The main question that we receive regarding course review and the reports is what happens if you, as a provider, cannot make or choose not to make the required modifications to a course after you get your course report back from course review. And sometimes there are extensive modifications that are needed. The understanding is if you submit a course for review to TxVSN, we are expecting you to make all required modifications in order to get that course to the approval status to be added to the TxVSN catalog. Since the state of Texas is paying for the review, we expect you as a reciprocation to make sure that you get your course up to the level of approval in order to offer it to students across the state. We have varying amounts of time depending on the level of modifications needed. If modifications are needed and they're only minor modifications, then you have about 45 days to make those modifications. If major modifications are needed, we do give up to 4 months in order for those modifications to be made as well. If you have any other questions regarding the course review process or TxVSN in general, I have included Central Operations contact information here, their phone number and email address. And if you have any questions specific to course review, here is the contact information for course review. Thank you so much for watching this video series about how to become a provider for TxVSN. Your feedback and input is welcomed, and I'm excited to be working with you and having you join us as part of the TxVSN team.